So you've probably heard many times from others that one strategy to help stop a child from throwing a tantrum or to avoid a fit like that is to distract them. I admit this does stop the tantrum for the moment, but the question is, does it teach them not to behave that way in the long run? What happens the next time when they're angry or frustrated? Another distraction? I was at my mother-in-law's house years ago when my children were little, and there was a glass of water on a coffee table. My toddler pulled himself up off the floor to stand next to the coffee table and started to reach for the glass of water. Grandma said, "No, don't touch," and another one of the family members got up right away and tried to get that glass of water before my toddler could pull it down. Immediately I said, "Don't move the glass." Why did I say this? Wouldn't it make sense to move the glass of water away so the toddler couldn't pull it down and spill it? Now, my toddler wasn't misbehaving at that moment. He was just tempted to not obey when Grandma said no. In my book, How to Train Your Child to Behave, and in my parenting classes, I teach about mature parenting. Mature parenting basically means that you're always thinking about the future when you're making decisions about how you're going to solve behavior problems with your child, how you're going to respond to their misbehaviors. In other words, the response you give to your child should teach them how to behave better in the future, not just stop them from behaving badly at the moment. If you take this approach to parenting, you'll realize that distracting a child doesn't teach them self-control, it doesn't teach them obedience, it doesn't teach them how to handle anger or frustration, all of which are really important life skills. So when the same sort of situation comes up, they have a temptation to disobey, or they get angry, or they get frustrated, what are they going to do? They're going to have the same temptation to behave badly as they did before because they haven't been taught any different. If they're not taught that throwing a fit is not appropriate, then throwing a fit is what they're going to do. With the mature parenting approach, at that moment when your child is frustrated or angry and starts to do something, or they are tempted to disobey, your thought is not, how can I stop them from behaving badly at this moment? How can I stop them from throwing a fit? How can I make sure that they don't have that opportunity to disobey? No, your thought is instead, how can I teach them to obey or to have self-control in the future? This is an opportunity for me to teach and train my child to behave. So when Grandma said, "No, don't touch," I knew my child understood what she was saying because he had already learned the word no at that point. This moment with that glass on the coffee table was an opportunity for my child to learn to obey and to have self-control. I wanted to take that opportunity for my child to learn in a safe environment. I knew that if that glass was taken away, the opportunity for my child to decide to not take it, like Grandma had said no, he had the opportunity to learn when she says no to have self-control, to have that glass there and think to himself, Grandma said no, I can't touch that. I wanted him to have that opportunity to learn self-control. Now at first he looked back at me and I guess he wanted to see if I was going to back Grandma up. Then he looked back at the glass and he looked back at Grandma, and it was really kind of fun to see the wheels turning in his little mind. So he looked at me again and I put my eyebrows down and I said, "No, don't touch." So then he just plopped himself down on his diaper and he crawled away to do something else. He left the glass sitting safely on the table. He made the right decision. But if he hadn't made the right decision, then it would have been an opportunity for me to teach him more self-control, that he needed to learn more self-control. Obviously, at that point, he had learned enough to understand when he hears the word no, that he needs to stop and not do it, even if he wants to. It's the same with a tantrum. When a child is throwing a tantrum, they need to understand that this behavior is not acceptable, and distracting them so that they don't have to think about that behavior and they don't have to recognize that it's wrong is not teaching them how to behave. Again, it might stop it for the moment, but it isn't teaching them how to behave the next time. It isn't mature parenting because it isn't teaching them how to behave appropriately in the future. Eventually, they're going to need to learn that this is not okay and that you will not allow it. Now, you may be wondering, if you haven't watched the Mommy Answer Lady channel before, what do I do if they're throwing a tantrum? If you click on the screen right now, you can go to another video that will tell you step by step how to teach a child not to throw a tantrum. And there are other videos on this channel for other behaviors. Parents, if you're struggling, something needs to change, and you can do this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.